Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this session, Transition from Classic to Lightning. My name is Rafiqul Islam, and I am the Inform Lead Consultant. I'll be hosting this session. Co-hosting with me, my colleague Mohammed. Mohammed, would you like to introduce yourself and run through our housekeeping?
Of course, hi everyone. My name is Mohammed. I will be co-hosting with Rafiq today. Um, just to go over some housekeeping rules, please leave the webinar and rejoin if you cannot see the screen, if you cannot hear us at all. If you are using a PC or laptop, please check if your volume is low. We will leave a description on the chat for anyone that can't hear us. You will have to check if the volume is switched off. And of course, please restart your device and rejoin the webinar if you are having internet or connection issues or facing any other type of connection issues. Recording and questions. So the session is being recorded for training purposes. There will be breaks in between for any questions, Q&As, and please post the questions within the Q&A.
So, thank you very much, Mohammed. Right. Today we are going to focus on what Lightning is and why Lightning is the solution now. We will talk about some FAQs and journey to Lightning experience. In our demo session, we will go through some selected basic and advanced features of Lightning and finally having time for you to ask your question. So let's see how we get on with that. Right, so what is Lightning? Inform is built on a Salesforce platform, as you know. So Salesforce has released an upgraded user interface. So it's all about a look and feel of the system. The information you add in about your client all sits in the same place in the background, but the way you access the information and the way you add more information has changed. The user interface is a much more up-to-date and helps your team to get things done more efficiently. For admins, it is a framework to create apps faster at lower cost with clicks, not code. Its features and capabilities helps to solve the business problem and improve processes. Also important to note that it is mobile and tablet friendly. So why Lightning is the solution now? Classic is a bit of an island at this point. It's kind of static. So latest innovation is on Lightning. Hundreds of features available only in Lightning and more added each release. Normally Salesforce releases innovation 3 times a year. So you are missing that, but you are paying for it. Also, our Inform product team will be focusing on Lightning only developments. The out-of-box features eliminate the need to maintain the customizations. We also can extend the Salesforce functionality by installing a Lightning-ready app from the App Exchange. But Salesforce Classic isn't going away yet. All new Salesforce innovation is in Lightning experience only. So the time for Lightning experience is now. Let's talk about what's not impacted by transitioning to Lightning. Yep, it's still all there. So not to panic, even though some people use the word migration from a Salesforce Classic to Lightning. It has the word migration in it, but your data is not impacted. So there is no data migration. All the data model that you have built out for your clients, timelines, risk assessment, all those fields are still there. Your reports and dashboards, all the business logic of the validation rules, your approval process is still there. Your security settings, sharing rules, profiles, permission sets, role hierarchy is still there. All this is still intact. So let's talk about what do we have to consider. Now the most obvious thing is it is completely a new user interface, and we will talk more about it in the demo. If you have any third-party apps from App Exchange, we need to see if the app is Lightning ready. Your notes and attachments need to be converted to files. We also need to consider what version of Inform you are using at the moment. If you have a very old package, that probably needs upgrading before we do the transition. If people are using custom stars or other Visual Force pages, then this needs reviewing as well. So these are the technical bits. We will also talk more about this later on this presentation, and that's where we can help. Right, so here we have some of the common questions. Will we lose any data? The simple answer is no, because all the data that already in your system stays there. You do not have to do any work to move it over. What happens to our existing reports and the dashboards? That will still there as well. So it's a good news so far. You won't lose any reports or dashboards. But if you open your dashboard and edit in Lightning where there are more features, then you won't be able to move it back again. Hope that's okay. Do we need to retrain our users? It depends actually, and I will talk more about training later on. You might choose to do a formal training session, particularly with those users who are not confident currently. People do not need to change their working practice as it should make their work easier. We can help you work out what the right training approach is for you. The big one, how much does it cost? In terms of license fees, there is no extra cost. As I mentioned previously, you are already paying for it. Can I still use the Salesforce Classic? Classic as long as you like, and we will continue to support the Classic user interface. Your journey to Lightning experience. So let's get into the 4 steps. These 4 steps are a framework we have put together that really talks about how we tackle this: assess, plan, build and test, train and roll out. So the first step is the assess. So if you are interested to Lightning transition, or if you have got any question about that, please do raise a support case with us. Our support desk will book 1 hour free consultation with one of our experienced consultant. We can discuss project management, getting the system ready, technical side, training bit, whatever makes more sense for you. If you like to go ahead, we will then forward your case to our quote team. Our quote team will get back to you with a quote, basically how much time it will take to do the transition, which might vary based on the complexity of your system. So that time can be used for your transition, such as project management, system readiness, configuration, training, etc. If you are happy with the quote, your case will then be assigned to one of our team member based on the availability, and then you will be contacted by the team member to arrange a kickoff call, and your excitement starts here. So let's go to our second step, which is our planning. So the next thing is just breaking down the work by the teams, assemble the team. Transition to Lightning, it is a project. It's a quite a big job. So engaging some of your managers, engage your champions. Our consultant will be working closely with your team. So in every phase, our consultant will organize a regular catch up with your team and update you to ensure we all are on the same page. We will run the Lightning readiness report. We will go through the pages and pages of information Salesforce have regarding Lightning, and we can have a checklist, everything you need to make sure moving to Lightning is not going to break anything for your users. It's time to plan your deployment strategy as well. So I will talk more about the deployment strategy later in the presentation. It's about planning out what you need to do and when to launch. So step 3 is build and test. That is the technical bits. So this is the implementation phase. Our consultant will arrange a workshop with your team to configure different homepage and or a different record page based on the requirements of your different teams. So we will create a brand new Inform Lightning app, set up your domain, converting notes and attachment to files. We will also check your existing customization to ensure nothing breaks, such as if you have any visual force pages or any custom button. As we start to configure, we appreciate your feedback, and based on that, we will be happy to adjust the configuration if needed. The final step is training and rollout. So regarding the training, it just depends on how comfortable your users are already and how you approach to rollout. You may use your champions to sit with your teams. It's a sort of ask me session where they can sit there, where people will come and bring their laptop and help them navigate around. Also in the demo, I will show you that on the home page, you can have the user guide built in there. And for some of you, if formal training is needed, we can work with you on that as well. So for the rollout strategy, you can go for all white default, where you can have move everyone to Lightning at the same time. This approach makes sense if you have not many Salesforce user and you have a simple configuration. Alternatively, you can go for the phase rollout. So in most cases, we want transition users gradually in phases, starting with a pilot group. We can break up the work into manageable stages and focus on what's important based on ongoing feedback. So here is some of our features. These are most of the areas that have changed quite significantly from a Classic to Lightning. We will look into this just in a minute. This is not a sort of everything. This is just a selection of the features that we wanted to highlight to you today. So I tried basically to combine some of the basic and some more advanced and recent features for the demo. So I'll be giving you a demo now. I will change my screen. So Mohammed, can you see my screen?
Rafiq, yeah, your screen is clear.
Okay. Right. So the screen you can see is probably very familiar to you. Yes, it is Classic. It's not Lightning. This is our standard page. In this case, you can see I am the user and I am ready to switch to Lightning experience. Now, if you are not an admin, you will not probably see this one. But if you are an admin, you will see that one. But if you are not admin, then we can make that visible for you. So I'm going to switch to Lightning experience straight away. Now you can see it's very different from your home page. It's quite a lot of information there compared to Classic. And I'll be talking around this little bit more. So this is our standard home page that you will have for your users and key workers. You have my current client case load in there. Underneath we have got today's events. We can view our calendar from there as well. Further down we have got items to approve. That might be very handy if you have got any approval process and if you are a manager. Then we have got our recent records. That is very handy as well. In this area we can have your logo. Underneath, as I told you previously, we have got our essential user guide and the list view and the reporting guides. Further down we have got our announcements if you like to have any, and then further down we have got our chatter post. So from here I can go to a client detail page just by clicking the client John Jones. I'm opening a new window. So I have configured this for the purpose of this demo. There are lots of ways we can configure Lightning record page. You have lots of options. This is just one of them. So during your Lightning transition journey, we will go through a process and working out what is best for you and for your users. So in this area, you can see the client details, which will be the same information and in the same order as you can see in Classic. At the top, we have got our highlights panel. We can pick some of the information that normally be within your main client page, and the information can draw more attention. Then we have got our related list quick links, and you can click on show all as well. That will show you all the related records the client have. For example, we can see here the client has got one timeline record, and if we just hover my mouse on there, I can get some more information like the timeline number, project, referral status, referral date, etc. Right, if we come to the right in the area, you can see we found no potential duplicate for this client. This is basically a duplicate detector, which is very useful because when you are creating a new client, it will scan in the background and it will flag up if there is any potential duplicate. Underneath, we have got related timeline records, and further down, we have got our chatter. Right, so we still have got the tabs on the top to navigate. Missing here is a plus sign to get to the rest of them. So what we have instead, we use 9 dots, what we call the app launcher, and here we can search for any other tabs we might want to go to. So let's have a look at the risk assessment. Right, so now it will take me to my list view. And if you have any list view before, all will be in Lightning. Any work you have done in Classic, it doesn't get lost when you switch over. So I now go back to my client detail page. Right. So maybe you have been using notes in Salesforce Classic. You are still in for a treat because enhanced notes in Lightning includes many more options for creating richer, more meaningful notes. So I'll go to the notes and click on new, and I like to have a note for the client, for my client John Jones. So for example, immediately needed a risk assessment and the needs assessment. So you can see it is you can basically write with the confidence because your ideas are automatically saved as you type. You also can see we can highlight some of the text, and we can use the bullet or the italic one. And we also can organize the information using the bullet points or the numbered list. You can see that is already related with the client John Jones. We have got the option to add these records with multiple records. So for example, I will click add notes to the records. I can select the timeline, and now if I just click my mouse here, I should be able to find the appropriate timeline for the client John Jones. And if I'm happy with that, I click add, and you can see now the note is related with the timeline record and John Jones as well. We can also share these notes with your colleague who will be performing the risk assessment and needs assessment. So I will click on share, and I can share with my colleague, say for example, Melissa at the moment, and I can write some notes for her as well. And once I'm happy, just click on share. And if you are happy with all the notes, then you just click on done. Right, so now I can check the notes record, clicking on there. And I have got the ability to edit that notes as well. So I can just type here the title, new client. And once I'm happy, just done. Right, so now we will look at the referral process and how that can change in Lightning. So I'm going to go to my timeline. I'm opening a new window. And I have got a list view called clients awaiting referral decision. So it looks a bit different than Classic or even from our standard list view. We can view them in our traditional table view, where we have one person and one timeline in each row, or we can toggle back to the view called Kanban view. So it puts in the category based on the field we have decided, such as this one is based on the referral decision. I can see who has not got any referral decision yet. So I can from there go to the client John Jones. And I can see the client has got only one timeline record. So we can go to the details of the timeline record. And we can see we have got the referral date, and further right we can see there is no related information for this particular client, no related record. So it sounds like it's a brand new timeline. So when you are happy with the information, you can go back to the Kanban view, and here we can just drag and drop to book an initial assessment for the client John Jones. We can go back to the timeline view and we can add the initial assessment date and can save the record. Similar thing for our test client. So let's go to the details of the test client. Now here is our test client, and this looks a little bit different. I can see there is an alert and the banned as well. So probably the client was banned from our services. I can see we have got two timeline for that client. One is referral, another one is closed. So let's go to the closed one. And you can see as well the client was not very long with us, and probably the client didn't have a very successful time with us. So in that occasion, unfortunately, I like to decline that client, so I can move this one and drag to the referral declined, and you can see it will auto pop up the reason declined, and I can choose the appropriate one and then click on done to move him across to the declined column. So this is just really a quick look about the Kanban feature. So it's a quick way of moving the record on any process that you have. Now let's have a look at the split view. So it's a very recent feature. Split view allows you to access the same list views while still seeing record details in the main workspace. So I simply can switch back to or switch it to our split view. On the left hand side, we have got our list of records. We can select the timeline record which we want to see. So going to the John Jones timeline record. Now we can see the timeline details here, and on the right we have got the related records as well. So from there also I can edit the record, the start date, for example, and then click on save. We also has got the option to toggle back to say table view or the Kanban view. Right, so now we will look one of the latest features that has been added to the Lightning, which we call dynamic forms and the dynamic actions. So using the dynamic forms, we can define the layout of a record detail page that contains fields and sections. What makes this dynamic is we can show or hide the section and field based on the certain filter criteria, which is currently not possible with the page layout. Hence, it provides more granular control to admins and the consultants. So to do that one, let's go to one of the timeline record for John Jones. I'm just duplicating that page for our testing purpose as well. So now I will go to this gear icon. If you are not an admin, you will probably not see this one. So click on there and I'll click on edit page. Now lots of things I can basically do from here. I can move around the fields. So for example, I want the initial assessment date on top of the start date. I can just move around that field like this. We also can take off from the page layout if we think we are no longer using a particular field. For example, in this scenario, say timeline days, I don't want to see that field in the page layout. We just can delete from there. Field will still be in the system, and we should be able to see this field in the reports. We can add more fields in the page layout from here. So I'll click on the fields and type timeline fields, for example. So say for example, if I want to see the total timelines, I'll just drag the field, and you can see the field is added to the page layout. We can show a particular field on page layout based on the value of the other fields. Say for example, I'll go to the additional fields. We have got a source of referral other. So we want this field should only be visible if we select the other pick list value in our source of referral field. So we can set the field visibility by adding that filter criteria. Similar things we can do for our referral decision as well. So say for example our reason declined other, that should be only visible if someone select other pick list field in the reason declined. So let's do a quick test. Basically what does that mean? So say for example I am on the timeline record. I'll click on the additional fields and I can see the source of referral field. So if I edit that one, select the pick list value other, you can see this source of referral other field is now showing. But if I select any other, you will see you will not see that field in the page layout. Similar things we can do for our referral decision as well. So say for example in the reason declined, if we select as other, then you will see this field is coming, but if we select any other value, you don't see that field. We also can basically set the visibility of the fields or even the entire section of the page by profile. For example, we have got a move on section here, and I want that this move on section, the entire section, should only be visible for the manager profile or for the system administrator. So say for example, if any of the user has got normal a worker profile or standard user profile, they shouldn't be able to see that one. So we just can set the component visibility and add the filter criteria to do that one. We will test that one later on, log in as a standard user profile, and we will see that a move on section you can see in my screen, but you will not be able to see when we log in as any other user who has got the standard profile. Now, there are certain limitations of the dynamic forms. At the moment, we cannot do that dynamic forms for the project and for your client record, but for any other record page, such as your timeline, actions, or the risk assessment, we can do that. Now, I'll talk about one more features. This is called the dynamic actions. So using the dynamic actions, basically, we can control quick actions and mobile and lightning actions from the app builder. So we can control basically which action will appear in the highlight panel. As you see, I have selected the highlight panel. So we can set the number. You can see at the moment I have got delete, sharing, and submit for approval, 3 actions. I can change the number, say for example 3 to 5, and save that one, and you will see that the 5 actions you can see on the top. We have got a list of actions here. So this list of actions basically is coming from the page layout, and we can customize that one from here as well. So we can delete some of the actions. So for example, if we don't need thanks or link, for example, we simply can delete from there. Also, we can rearrange the order as well. So you can see here I have got the delete first and then the sharing. So same order is here as well. I can just bring the sharing on the top if you like, so you can rearrange your order. We also can add more action as well from here. So you can see the add action button, and you can just click on write down the action name. So for example, I want to add the clone. So select the clone and click on done. You can see the clone. You should be able to take the clone on the top, and you can see clone on the top. You can set the visibility of a particular action button from here as well, which is based on the value of the other field. For example, we want that submit for approval section, which shouldn't be visible for the closed timeline. So let's test that one. So say for example, we are in this timeline, and you can see the timeline status is open at the moment, and you can see the submit for approval button as well. Now if I put an end date, save that record, you can see the timeline status is closed, and you will not see the submit for approval button. Going back, we also can set this action basically based on the profile as well. So say for example, we want a printable view. That button should only be visible for say for example the manager or the system administrator. So for the standard worker profile or the standard user, this button should not be visible. So you should be able to see that one in you can see the printable button. But now if we log in as any of the user, so let me go to the setup and let's find the users. You can see I've got other Militsa who has got a standard user profile. So if I log in, we can go to the timeline record, and you will see that printable view button. She cannot see that one. Even I believe the move on section as well will not be visible to that page layout. So that's the end of my demo today. It's a bit of a flying tour of a few of the areas that are quite different from Classic to Lightning. So I will just move back to my PowerPoint slide. Right. So there are some of the resources that you can take a look at Trailhead. Trailhead is a free online learning environment. It is really a useful platform to learn Salesforce. Here are some of the links for you. You will get the slide so that you can use these links, and it helps you to look at the rollout strategy, your learning map. So it's all about the Lightning. For admins as well, there are some key areas and some key things that we have pulled out that should help you along with that transition. So, Mohammed, do you have any question?
So I have 3 questions that I want to ask. These are quite common questions. So is there a deadline of when Salesforce will stop Classic?
No, we don't have any deadline yet. But what Salesforce is saying basically, they are happy, and we are happy as well to help you or support you on your classic user interface. But there is no deadline yet when it will be stopped fully.
Okay. Second question, what do we have to do to make this transition?
First of all, I will say you please do raise a support case with us, and our support desk will book 1 hour free consultation, and we will take it from there.
Last question. So there was a lot of things that you covered in here. So one of the questions that I feel like the participants would want to ask is Lightning user friendly?
It is indeed, because it's a quite upgrade basically from Classic to Lightning, and the whole purpose is makes our life easier and work more efficient. And most importantly, what I said, that Classic is static at the moment, so all the innovation, all the new features basically that will be on Lightning, and our product team as well basically that will be focusing on Lightning only development. But if you want to stay in Classic, we will support you as long as you want.
I see. Now, just to see if anyone else has any questions that they would like to ask Rafiq. There are no questions at the moment. Just give it over 10 seconds. Okay, we have a question. So this is from Paul. How long does the process take?
Right. So process might take basically, it varies, and it will depend on how big your organization or how complex your system is. But the good thing is when you raise a support case, we will book 1 hour free consultation, and there we will go through your system, and then probably based on that, we will send your case to our code team, and the code team will analyze the complexity of your system, and based on that, we will let you know how much time it might take to do the transition.
Second question from Paul is there a one-off cost at the is there a one-off cost at the start and then the same subscription rate?
No, because as I said, there is no extra cost for the license fee because you are already paying for that one. So license wise, there is no extra cost at all. But you might just need to pay for the time we quote for. That means the time we will help you to do your transition.
We've got another question here. Please, can we get a copy of the shared presentation?
Yes, you'll be given a copy of that one. Yes.
This don't have any more questions.
Okay, so that's all from me. So at the end of our presentation, I hope that was helpful. If you have any further question about any of it, please do raise a case. We will book a call, as I said before, and I will have a chat with you. So hopefully there hasn't been too much information in one go. So Mohammed, over to you.
So we have come to the end. So for our future events, webinars, please visit the Homeless Link website. If you want to find out from us about any events or webinars, you can also contact the support team and the sales team. So we do have the website and the email address here. Next slide, please. You will be directed to a feedback form after this webinar ends. Please fill in the feedback form as it helps us to improve future events, training, and webinars. I think this will be then.
Any other question, Mohammed, you have?
I'm gonna check one more time. We got a message from Lee. Say thank you. Thank you, Lee. We might have another question. Nope, that's it.
Okay, so thank you very much for joining. I hope you enjoyed the session.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you. So, Mohammed, would you like to end the session?